So just like how Max showed us how to get a prettier reader video, I'm going to show you how to get the most out of your volume. It's of my opinion that you should have loud videos rather than quiet ones, because you can always turn a loud video down. You can't always turn a quiet video up if you don't have the hardware. So here we go. The first thing you should do is pull your video into your video editor like this. I've chosen Max's video because it's a prime example of one that really could get the most out of its volume potential. Then you're going to want to play it all the way through, start to finish. Go to your mixer and you'll see at the top here about -4.1, -2.8 in this case. Now what this represents is the decibels away from hitting the point at which your volume will start to peak and will start to distort if it gets too loud. So we have -2.8. You always want to pick the one that's closer. You want to concentrate on that one. So what we're going to do is we are going to crank the slider on the left up to about 2.7, so that if we played it all the way through again, we would get about -0.1. So we're really going to be hitting our volume potential. That's fine. If you have a video with just you talking, just do that. That's perfect. You should get a fairly decent volume out of that. The thing about this video in particular, though, is that what hit this limit, this -2.8, is actually some clicking sounds. It doesn't really matter if they distort. It was just Max clicking on a sort of fire stick thing. So what we're going to do is we are going to just look at the things that really matter if they distort. So we can see that the intro is louder than the main talky bit. So that's probably where, if you ignore the clicking, that's where the next highest peak would be. So we're going to play through the intro once, and we're going to see that we actually have about -7, -7.4. So we're going to crank the gain on the bottom there up to 6.8. So if we played it all the way through, just up until the point of the clicking, we'd probably get pretty close to the maximum volume that we really should be getting at. It's a bit weird though to have the middle section just kind of quiet and the intro loud. People kind of want to hear you talking, they don't really want to hear just the intro, especially if they've heard it like once per day, every day this month. So we're going to split the video here, and we're going to split it into the intro and the main section, and we're going to play all the way through till just before the clicking again, and we can see that we still have about 2.1 decibels of potential that we could possibly use. So because my video editor, which is Sony Vegas, doesn't actually let you crank up the volume manually on individual clips like that. It does if you split it into a second channel, but if you just want to have them in the same channel because you're, I don't know, you're messing around with the EQ or something, you just want to turn the volume up on a particular like snip, you can't actually do that in my one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the intro down to the same minusness as was at the top of the mixer earlier on. So that is going to turn it down to -2.2 decibels, and then we're going to crank the whole thing up by about 2 if you're still following this, and if you play all the way through up until the clicky bit, we're going to get the intro and the speaking at about the same volume, and they're both going to reach about -0.1, so we're really hitting our volume potential here. Now, as I've said before, the clicking was actually much louder than those, but they don't really have it doesn't really have an audio character, the clicking, so it doesn't matter if it gets distorted. If you play all the way through, you'll get +4.7, which normally wouldn't be good if that was you talking, because it would kind of sort of bit like this. But like I said, it doesn't really matter. I hope that's helpful. You can go through it again. I was just kind of off the top of my head with a few clippy clips, and I guess I'll see you tomorrow.